DJ made enough.
Hey guys, Rudy Ruettiger here, the real Rudy. I am so honored to be on the podcast with Big Mike and Ryan. They Only Touch Greatness podcast they have. I think it's wonderful, and I'm excited I'm on this podcast. So remember, I Only Touch Greatness podcast. Get on it, find it, listen to it. They have some great guests, great wisdom. Go for it, guys.
Looking for the most beers on tap? Great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Hayes sent you.
The number one sports podcast in Vancouver with Ryan Hayes and Big Mike.
Ryan Hayes and Big Mike are taking over the podcast scene in Vancouver. Get down or lay down. Lay down. Lay down.
Well, Georgia Tech fell behind and unable to pass. They've just been unable to get back in this game. Rudy Allen drops to throw. They're going to get him. They do back at the 14. Notre Dame's second-line defensive unit swarms in to get Rudy Allen in to make the first hit for the Fighting Irish. Was Jay Achterhoff. And now the clock ticks off the final second.
So yeah, we'll get started here. Born in Illinois, what was childhood like, and what kind of sports did you play growing up other than football?
Well, you know, we big family, number one. And when you grow up with 6 brothers and 7 sisters, and mom said, get out of the house, you had no other way, no other alternative but to pick on the neighbors. Let's start a baseball game, football game, whatever. But you played till dinner time. You didn't come in. It was, once you're out, you're out. So those were the good days. You learn competition just by being around your neighbors. And hey, it's kind of like this. It's most kids today, they play on the video. They're inside, they're not outside. We grew up on the outside, so it's a little different culture when we grew up. So I learned by the process of just being around different type of kids, being around different like games. Like we would play any game to stay busy, from basketball to football to baseball to soccer, whatever, to keep us busy. So that's what I learned. That's how I learned. Then I like baseball, Little League. You know, you couldn't wait till you got your uniform every year, your new hat every year, and the glove you had, you stole from your brother. Now he's chasing you to the Little League game to get his glove back.
Did you have a favorite number you liked?
Mickey Mantle, number 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you know, you grow up with those heroes.
Yeah.
And I see you're pro bass, Big Mike. Bass
Yeah,
pro.
yeah.
You know,
That's right.
my son's a big bass fisherman.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah, he does tournaments and all that. But no, he anyhow, I saw your hat, so you're into fishing and
Oh, he's just trying to get a sponsor. Don't let him fool you.
is he you a bass guy?
Yeah,
No. Yeah, I love all types of fishing, but yeah, I love my bass fishing. We don't have a ton of it out here in BC, but what we do, I love it out here.
Yeah. Vancouver, man, it's beautiful where you're at.
Have you been here?
It is.
Oh yeah. It's really nice.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay.
Yeah.
What were you doing up in Vancouver?
I was speaking at that one resort. What's the name of that resort there?
Harrison Hot Springs? No.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Yeah. So you attended Holy Cross College. What was the experience like there before you headed to Notre Dame?
Well, it's an experience because, one, it's a different route I took to Notre Dame. I was in the Navy before Holy Cross, which meant this. I had to change my whole philosophy on education. I think in high school we got duped by teachers, and they didn't tell you to ask for help. That was cheating. They didn't tell you to collaborate. You can't. You didn't do your homework. Now, wait a minute. In the real world, what do? Collaborate and ask for help. And that's why the Navy helped me understand that. So I went to school with a whole different attitude now. In high school, you could just, that's in the past. You learn what not to do, and you learn what to do. And what I learned what to do was get a lot of help, and that works.
Absolutely.
Hey,
and
go
ahead, right?
I got one. How realistic was the movie to your real life? Because I could see you didn't watch Rudy Ruettiger, The Walk-On. I haven't got it yet.
Okay, well, go on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And you'll see the documentary. And I think that will answer a lot of your questions. We wanted to stick to the message because in a movie, you can't do a documentary in a movie, one. And two, you have to entertain people. And three, you got to keep the movie moving. It's very boring otherwise if you tell your whole. So you had to learn how to do composites and embellishments and set up moments through obstacles and tragedy, and which really happened. But you had to do it in a way to where you're not explaining how that moment happened. You just did the moment. And so that leaves the audience in a different frame of mind. They connect it differently because you don't know what they're going through mentally or personally. So you wanted to hit all those little levels of people, of their struggles. And it worked.
Absolutely. One of the best movies of all time in my eyes.
Every time we get asked about it, or I ask people what your favorite movie is, I always say my favorite movie is Rudy.
Well, I think because you connect to not the football, not Notre Dame.
It's more because I'm small with a big heart, and I was always the tiniest guy waiting for my growth spurt still.
What happened to you? You don't look.
Middle school.
Middle school. No, I don't. What we're trying to tell kids, especially youth, it's not your size that matters. It's your heart and passion and what you want to do and how you prepare for it. Preparation is the key, and hard work is the key. Entitlement's not the answer. When they're entitled, they go, things really get goofy, I call them. Don't go goofy. Don't do goofy thinking. First thing you should do every morning, get your first success step done. What's that, Mr. Rudy? Make your bed. Oh, no, it works. Because when I was in the military, in the Navy, first thing they made you do was make your bed.
That's right.
They made you better make it right. You better have your shoes shined. You better have your locker in order and everything folded right. And that's what they built on. They built off of that basic fundamental character step. So get that right first, then everything else will kind of like fall in place because you find out organized chaos is important.
Scout team player until Coach Dan Devine gave you the opportunity. Three players in the last game. The big sack, obviously, against Rudy Allen. Taking you back to the game and the play.
Well, how can I explain that game? It was because of preparation. It's because of I went to practice like I was a starter, and a contributor. There's a difference because realistically, I would never start for Notre Dame. Realistically, I was not one of their candidates to even be on the first, second, or third, fourth team. I was a walk-on, but I can contribute. But that doesn't say I can't practice like they practice. A lot of those guys practice, but they didn't practice 100%. And they they got entitled, or they lost their goals, they lost their dreams, they lost their feelings because they're not the first, second team. And so those are the guys you had to energize. Those are the guys you had to keep going because you got to make that culture like we're contributors here. to something bigger than you are. And that's how I kind of went at Notre Dame with that attitude, because in the Navy, and but that preparation helped, because when my time came, I was ready. And believe it or not, in a game, it's pretty easy if you prepare yourself right. Practice is hard. That's a tough part. But in the game, it's totally different. The crowd's cheering, you go into a zone, and you don't hear the crowd. You go in a complete focus. In your body, basically, you go in a very slow motion mode, which is fast. But the way your mind works, the way your preparation works, that tackle happened because of that I call mental state. You get into that mental state of mind. I always look at Tom Brady. Give him a second chance, it's over.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm more of a Russell Wilson fan myself, but
I like Russell Wilson because of the University of Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But,
he's no Tom Brady.
No, Tom Brady's a true leader. Now, I want to bring this up to you, because he's not a great athlete. And what I mean by just watch him. But he gets other people go to the next level through his empowerment, his encouragement, how he handles adversity on the field. You think he's not yelling at you. He said, hey, you're better than that. Come on, get your head in the game. This is not you. He would talk to these guys like that, which puts him right back in the game. Instead of yelling at him, hey, where were you? You missed my pass. He doesn't. No, you're better than that, man. Come on now. We got to get this in the game. He always keeps their head in the game. He puts them up instead of down. And a lot of coaches, I hated coaches who always yelled at you when you came off the field. That doesn't help. I like the empowerment process. And that's how kids should be coached. We should be coached, even in business, the whole deal. Because we're all going to make mistakes. We're not perfect. So, hey, it's okay. Let's learn from that and let's move on.
So
go ahead,
Ryan. No, go ahead, Ryan.
You're single-handedly the reason I love Notre Dame. And they're one of my favorite franchises because of you. Do you have a favorite franchise? Do you have a favorite franchise?
I do. And one, it's Notre Dame. One, but I always love tradition, like Michigan, USC. I love that tradition. And I speak at USC every year at their film school. And I get to meet kids from all over the world on filmmakers. And I've been there. I don't know anything about filmmaking. But what I do know is how to get them to do what they want and what they should be doing. And that was my gift, a gift that I have. And I recognized that when I was at Notre Dame. I didn't even know the plays at Notre Dame. They don't teach you the plays. They teach you how to hold the bag. They teach you the opposition plays, what you should be doing, so they could do their walkthroughs and their plays right, because you got to give them the right feeling, right picture. So you always learn the other team's plays, never Notre Dame's. So, and think about that. Isn't that the way life is?
Yeah.
Yeah. And if we think like that, we can be very successful if we learn how to be great contributors, develop a culture. See, look, I look at athletes. I'm watching the Olympics, and I'm not going to say anything other than, hey, if you go to the Olympics, you do it whether you're hurt or not. That's the country. They recognize that. Just because you make a mistake, you don't quit. You don't say, oh, well, maybe I should, don't. No, you're trying. You got to keep trying. When things are tough, it's like an athlete comes out, use Notre Dame, or he comes to Notre Dame as a great athlete, but guess what? There's 10 other ones just like him. So how hard are you going to work? What are you going to do? It's like in business. There's some smarter people than you when you walk in that room, or people who are better than you. Learn from them. Become part of the culture. Have them help you get to where you need to go. Build a team. Build a good culture. That's why Rudy works.
And the only player in Notre Dame history had to be carried off the field. What was that like?
I never thought of it that way, and today I don't think of it that way, nor is that important for me. The important thing, I graduated, got in Notre Dame, got to walk on that field one time, got my monogram, part of that Notre Dame tradition. That's important. Whether I was carried off or not, or whether I played, it didn't matter, because I took my mind off that. But I wanted to play, don't get me wrong. If I played, I wanted to win. So I had that winning attitude, but disappointment you have to handle as well.
Mike, take this one.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about the Elvis Presley story?
Yeah, Elvis, this is funny. I'm a security guard at Notre Dame. That was part of my job, that make extra money. And Elvis would come into the arena where we would hold the concert. They come in with his Cadillac. And during that time, believe it or not, he was overweight. Being overweight, he was a little embarrassed. So he had a hard time getting out of his vehicle to go on to stage. But once he got on stage, he was awesome. But I recognized Kiki D, who was his she set up the whole thing for him, and she was getting ready to end her deal, and they're yelling at Elvis, "Hey Elvis, get ready, we got to go." He wouldn't get out. He was having a hard time. So I gave him a boxing shirt. I went in my room, got him a boxing shirt. They took it, and in turn they gave me a rubber hound dog. I said, "Thanks." I never met him one-on-one, but years later, this guy comes up to me and says, "Hey, I met you at Notre Dame in 1975. How do you remember that?" Right? I said, No. Elvis said, "I remember you. You're Rudy." And when you gave Elvis that boxing shirt, he wore that at Graceland when he played racquetball. I said, "Really?"
That's pretty cool.
I said, "Who are you?" He said, "I'm a stepbrother. I was in the back seat."
Wow.
So you just never know, right? Years later. And I was speaking at Memphis University, and I get a call from the Graceland. They gave me a private tour to Graceland. So that was kind of neat.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not very many people can say they've been there.
Well, I think we all meet certain people. Look, I see you got hockey players on your wall. You're a big hockey guy, right?
Yeah, mostly
hockey and football. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't skate, but I gave the Stanley Cup to the Colorado Avalanche. When they came from Canada to the U.S., they used the movie. Yep, 96. They used the movie Rudy during their playoffs to inspire them. So they had a special dinner, a ring ceremony, and they called me in to hand them their rings, but they didn't know I was coming. Remember Mike Ritchie, Patrick Waugh, Joe Sakic were in the front.
Adam Deadmarsh.
Yeah. And I walk out, movie screen up there, give them the playoffs. And make a long story short, I walk out. Rudy, Mike Ritchie.
Yeah.
He'll just blurt it out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So that was my experience in hockey. Now I live in Vegas with the Avalanche. What my Fleury just got traded to Chicago. The Knights. And I think he's going to retire, me personally. But wow, what hockey did for this city is unbelievable.
So
I believe it.
Why are you a Vegas Golden Knights fan then?
I lived there.
Yeah, that's
and when there was a big shooting here.
Yeah, of course.
And the Knights just happened to be their first year here, brought the city together, and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals the first year. Kind of brought everybody together, and I kind of got excited about hockey. Got my son involved in hockey. Now he's at Arizona State playing hockey. Going to be playing hockey. So hockey's a big deal. I love it. I love the excitement. It moves. It moves. Baseball, you fall asleep. Football, it's every 10 seconds and another. I mean, you hit a guy, you got to wait 10, 20, a minute. Hockey moves. I love it.
That's awesome.
the one thing with baseball is like you could foul a ball like 20 in a row and you could still be standing there and like you're wasting my time. There's 10 minutes of foul pitches after the pitcher resets.
I have to commend the outfielders, man. They don't fall asleep.
Oh.
I watch them and said, oh my God, what are they thinking? They got to keep their head in the game. So it's a real test. It's tough. Baseball's a grind.
Who is your favorite sports athlete growing up?
Mickey Mantle was kind of like the guy because, home runs, New York Yankees, the Green Bay Packers, Jimmy Taylor, Vince Lombardi. Those are legends. The guys.
Yeah. And what was it like playing with Joe Montana? And did you know he was going to turn out to be so special?
You know what? He came to Notre Dame, and he was the number 4 quarterback. And he had a transition he had to handle with new coach coming in. So his opportunity to play was really not very well taken by the new coach. They didn't really like him, but he played because a couple guys got hurt. His junior year, they put him in the game, and he won the game and won the next game the same, and they saw his skill. But he was not a good practice player.
Okay.
Because he was always on the scout team. So my whole point, they didn't see his skill until he got in the game. His skill, he's a really talented guy, and he has a lot of instinct, stuff you can't teach. That's what he has. You can't teach what he sees, can't teach what he feels. That's what makes him great.
Being a legend, do you have any favorite sports memorabilia?
Oh boy, do I? Yeah, I do. Mariano Rivera gave me first base at a Yankee game.
Wow.
I got, I don't know, all kinds of good stuff. I don't know. There was some baseballs from a glove was given to me by a
do you have your own stuff from that game?
This is funny. My dad, I put it in when my dad was living, I had it in his office, my helmet and my jersey. And when he passed, we kind of packed it. And one day I got a call from the NFL charities, and they asked if I had anything that I could give to charity. Yeah, I'll give my helmet and jersey. Why not? I'm not doing anything with it. What am I going to do? Look at it.
You gave away your Notre Dame jersey.
Yeah.
Holy.
But listen, here's the key. When you give it for a purpose, it adds something to your life, because it's just, why are you looking at this helmet? It's memories, Rudy. Well, not really. I mean, the type of memories I have is not what you want to remember, right? But they said, would you give it for charity? So they put a reserve on it for $5,000. If they sold it for $5,000 or $10,000, you got $5,000. I said, yeah, I'll do that. It went for $247,000 at the Super Bowl. Where Tom Brady's jersey went for $100,000, mine went for $200,000. I only got $5,000 out of the deal. The rest went to charity. I had no idea the value of that jersey, what it meant to someone.
Do you have your favorite piece of memorabilia you still have?
There's a little, when you play at Notre Dame, they give you a little, what they call a little medal of Blessed Mother and Jesus on the back. And if you get one of those, that means you dress for a game. I have that. I have those little memories. Those mean a lot. Just little things that you kept from Notre Dame that meant a lot to you. I got 3 honorary doctor's degrees. I got my Holy Cross diploma, my Notre Dame diploma. Those mean a lot to me, because that was the essence. Academically, I had to be first. In order to play football, I had to get there academically. And that was the tough part, because I graduated in high school 3rd in my class from the bottom. So I really had to prove to myself I could do this. And it was because of the Navy that taught me what to do. and how to do it.
And after Notre Dame, did you go try out anywhere, or did you just quit football all of there?
Try out for what? Football?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? I was so happy it was over.
Okay, fair enough.
My God, I was so happy. I thought I wanted to coach, right? And I was a graduate assistant for 1 year. You know, those coaches 24/7. They never go home. They're in there. So that's not my life. Well, everything did change. If you could look what they're getting paid today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
After college football ended, was there, other than college football then, say, right, what would your dream other sport be if you could play one?
Well, see, and I love movies. I love movies. I watch all kinds of movies. I saw Rocky after I graduated. That stimulated my creative juices for the movie Rudy. And it just told me if he could do it, I could do it type of attitude. So I go out to Hollywood not knowing anything about movie making, but built a lot of relationships in 10 years. And it all, you have to have patience. It's a grind. It's a real struggle. You're told things that aren't true. You have to deal with all that. But you learn what not to do through that and what to do from that. So putting the movie together was a great challenge and a great victory.
And how did it all start? Like the movie, like who came up with the idea? Yourself? Or?
It all started with the Rudy.
Well, it actually started when I would go to class at Notre Dame. I said, "This is a dream. I'm not supposed to be here." So I started thinking, "How did I get here? How did this happen?" Then I go to football practice. I'm not supposed to be here. How did this happen, right? So I think about it. You know what? You got to take yourself out of reality and put yourself into the imagination world, and dream about what you're doing and do the work. So that's why I always took myself out of the reality. But the reality is it's hard. It's a lot of work. So I had to deal with that. But I always kept myself in a fantasy mindset. And that's why I could put the movie together.
Oh, one of the greatest moments of my life is when Rudy ran on the field at Notre Dame. And, what went through your mind when you got to finally run out on the field?
Like I was supposed to be there. This is what I'm supposed to do. I belong here, too. You all feel that, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
That's right.
That's how I feel when you come on our show.
Yeah, I mean, I'm supposed to do this. This is what I want to do. I don't compare myself to no one. I compare myself with myself. And that's what makes a big difference.
If you were hosting a dinner and drink party, who are the three guests you're inviting?
I would bring John Favreau on set. Number one, I love when he was on set, when we went to Second City and recruited him for the role. He never left set. He was always inquisitive about how a movie was made. I said, John, I really don't know. It's a lot of hard work. That's all I know. He said, I got it. And a lot of relationships. Those are the two things I told him. And this is what he wanted. But I'd like to get more from him, because after the movie Rudy, he goes on and does some great things. And it was all about relationships and hard work and things that he had to do in order to get there. But I liked him. Maybe someone like a ex-president. I'd like to find out I met 4 presidents. And I just like to get their mindset on how they really, out of politics, let's get down and really talk about life and what you really think. So I have a president, a movie maker, and a sports fan. Well, of course, he's not living anymore, but I would love to have Mickey Mantle there, because he's spent so much struggle in his life, what he had to deal with. So I always like to say how he got over that and what his redemption moment was. Those are the type of things. So those are the characters I would like, because I like Favreau. I like how he thinks. I like what he does. He's just that. he's outside the box. And he never went to film school. He just learned it the right way from the right people, just like I did. And you look at those type of people, I just like their wisdom. If we have more wisdom in life instead of academics, we would do better. We have to teach more wisdom in schools too. That's what I think.
My favorite movie, of course, is Rudy, which is obviously your movie. What is your favorite movie?
I like inspiration. I like It's a Wonderful Life. I always liked that, Frank Capra. I loved movies like Remember the Titans. That was a Field of Dreams, Rocky, those type of movies. I love those. And I like Rambo.
Yeah.
The reason I like what he had to go through in order to get through his tough moments. I just love Stallone. Anyhow, those are the type of movies.
That movie was filmed up in pretty close to us.
Oh yeah. If I look in the back there, yeah, I could see maybe that's where they shot it, in those trees.
No, I'm about 2 hours north of Hope.
Oh really? Wow.
And then Hope is about an hour and a half north of Vancouver.
Yeah. Canada is a good place to shoot movies.
Yeah.
In fact, we ended the Toronto Film Festival with Rudy.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, we were the last film. We had Roger and Ebert. It's kind of neat. We had some good people. Canada was awesome to me, and I'll never forget Toronto, how they received the film. I knew the film was going to be a success, and also how the people responded. Also, I knew they were going to take it out slow. They weren't going to push it out there. They're going to let it get into the long-term type of attitude, and I like that because it lasts longer. Like Sleepless in Seattle, you never see that anymore, but it was a great movie.
Yeah,
right. But those were entertainment movies. Rudy's a movie for you and for your children, and for guys like me and my children.
Absolutely. $100,000 prize on the line. You have to sing one karaoke song. What are you singing?
Oh, Danny boy. My mother would sing that all the time. Oh, Danny boy. And this is funny. There's every time she sang Danny boy, my dad would come home, all of us at the table. He was stressed out and tired. She would sing Danny boy as she cleaned up the table. Then everybody would reside for the night. And all of a sudden, there's a new Rudy coming out. Every time she sang Danny Boy. So we figured every time she sang Danny Boy, that's a problem. So that's why I remember Danny Boy.
What do you want the legacy of Rudy Ruettiger to be remembered as?
It's funny. I just watched a little video of a kid who watched Rudy. He says, never give up. You can be whatever you want. You could do it. If he could do it, I could do it. That's, the perseverance. That's the legacy.
Rudy, I just want to thank you very much for taking the time for us today and coming on. As you know, we're huge fans of you, and your movie is one of our favorites ever since we were kids. So it meant a lot to us to talk to you today.
Well, you guys are awesome, and I appreciate that you had me on, and I'm honored that you had me on. And look, it's kind of, Ryan, you got to have more fun in your vacation, right?
I'm on vacation. I'm trying to have
fun. Go have fun.
Looking for the most beers on tap, great steaks, great staff? Head over to the John B. Pub.
We got the best beers, steaks, chicken wings, nachos in town. Come see us at the John B. Pub.
The John B. Pub, the best bar in town. Come sign up for our football pool. Say Hayes sent you.